What's up, Ohio housing nerds? How you doing this afternoon? Well, the Ohio housing crisis is not just about high rates and high interest high interest rates and high home prices. It's more about the disconnect between the prices that sellers are charging and the prices that buyers can afford, at least in my opinion. But in that gap between what sellers are charging and what buyers can afford lies hidden opportunity. And I'm going to show you that today. So, this is all about the Ohio housing market, and it's your turn and time to learn more about your county, maybe your metro, and just what's happening in the Buckeye State when it comes to home prices, inventory, um, and the dynamics that we're seeing. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jason Ferrier. I am the Ohio housing nerd. I'm a realtor and investor in Central Ohio. I've been doing it now for almost 8 years. So I want to welcome you, and I hope you enjoy today's live. This is all interactive. And if you have a county or a metro you want me to analyze in the housing market here in Ohio, drop in the comments and I will get to it. All right. So, and what I'm going to show you today is pretty cool. Like, I actually pulled some listings from Zillow that sold recently and sold at big discounts after being on the market a long time. So I'm going to kind of show you some techniques and some areas that where maybe you can find some hidden deals. But first, we're going to go over a kind of a regional or state update, and then we're going to look at key counties. I've got a whole list of counties to go over. I can't get to all 88, but I will do my best to get to your county if you drop it below. What's up, Seth? Can I provide status on Cleveland, specifically the city of Solon? I can try to do Solon. I can definitely do Cleveland. I don't know if my data will go that far into Solon or not, but thank you for asking. So I'll go ahead and save that one, and I'll definitely get to that one, that area. I'm going to do Cuyahoga County, definitely. But first, let me show you guys this. We know that prices are high, right? We know that. There's no doubt. But take a look at this. So this is Cuyahoga County, and the median sale price now, according to Redfin, this is updated weekly. The link's in my description below, but $249,000 for the median sale price in Cuyahoga County right now. What is crazy and what's shocking and where the crisis really lies is the fact that the price is up nearly 14% year over year. So home prices in Ohio haven't really fallen at all. I mean, there may be some little pockets where you're seeing some price declines. There are some areas where we're seeing price softening. Prices actually start to level off as far as the growth. But, overall in the U.S., it's like a third of the markets in the U.S., we're seeing price declines year over year. But in the Midwest and Northeast, not really happening. It's the trajectory is still showing that we're gaining on home prices. So we're going to look at that today, and there are some areas though in Ohio where prices are moderating. But check this out. This is one of the things that I'm seeing. This is from realtor.com. The link's in my description. But look at this. In Columbus, the share of listings with a price reduction, 24%. You're going to see what I mean later in the video after I analyze the county. So stick around. You want to see this. But there's 24% of listings in Columbus with a price cut. So sellers are cutting prices big time in Columbus. What's interesting is if you look at Cincinnati, 15.8% of all listings. So they have fewer price cuts compared to the number of listings they have versus Columbus. Cleveland, 15.4%. So they're like on par with Cincinnati. And it's actually, and they're up 2% year over year. Columbus is up 3.8% year over year. So more price reductions than last year. And then Cincinnati is up 0.8% points, I guess, or just under 1% to 15.8. So there are price cuts happening, no doubt, in the Buckeye State. They are, and they're happening nationwide. Sellers are like way over their skis on some properties. Again, I found some opportunities and some closed deals where I was like, wow, like this guy got a discount. So I think sellers are at some point will wake up, or they'll just leave it on the market. You know, they'll just leave it on the market if they have to and decide to sell later on. So let's go back to this. And since we already had a request from Seth for Cleveland, I'll do the city of Cleveland. So something to keep in mind is that if your area that you want me to analyze is small, like a small town, you know, like I live in a small town in Ohio, and Granville. You probably can't tell from my hat, but like it would be very hard to analyze Granville on a chart with Redfin data because there's hardly any transactions. Like, so the data is kind of wonky, very, very hard to analyze. But in a place like Cleveland or a county level, much easier. You really need MLS access, MLS data from a realtor in order to really understand like a small town, which you can get. You can contact me. If it's in Central Ohio, I can help you out. If it's in Cleveland or another area, you can get with a realtor. If you don't know of one, contact me. I can connect you with a good realtor in your market. But this is the median sale price in Cleveland, just in the city of Cleveland, $269,000. Up like Cuyahoga County, up 14% if you're rounding. But let's look at inventory in Cleveland and see what's going on. New listings, up 12%. Now, it's important to know new listings nationally are flat. Actually, they've been down over the last few weeks, but the most recent data shows that the new listings nationally are actually flat. So, in other words, when you've got an area like Cleveland that has 12% increase in new listings, you're adding a lot more inventory to the market than percentage-wise than nationally we are. Ohio is breaking, kind of bucking the trend, I guess, of what we're seeing nationally in many aspects. So that's new listings. Let's look at homes sold. How many people are actually buying homes in Cleveland? 574 closed transactions in the last 4 weeks in Cleveland. That's up 6.4% year over year. And that's how this data is structured. It's a rolling 4-week average is what they do. They look back 4 weeks, then take the average of the last 4 weeks. So, Redfin really offers the most up-to-date info on the housing market because it's weekly. But up 6.4%. So people are listing more homes in Cleveland. They're buying more homes in Cleveland than they did last year. It's active. It just is. And that's different than nationally, because nationally we're down like 1.5% in homes sold right now. So that's there's a big difference there between Cleveland and national numbers. All right, let's look at median sale price. We already did that, didn't we? $269. So home prices are at an all-time high in Cleveland. New listings are up. Let me look at active listings. I forgot to do that. Active listings in Cleveland up 13.34%. So more homes for sale. And that number continues to go up. You can just see it, how it's rising. So you are seeing more homes on the market. Let me just move this, which is great. If you're a buyer, you need more homes. Let's look at the next county. Let me do Franklin. Whoops. Franklin County. Let me start with new listings in Franklin County. And if you comment, I will get to it. I just, I'll take a break here in a couple minutes and take some of your comments. All right, new listings in Franklin County. 408. But they're down in Franklin County. Look at that. New listings are down. Huh. They were down last week 5.2, now down 4%. So in Cleveland, you've got more homes for sale, but in Franklin County, fewer homes for sale. I'm sorry, fewer homes hitting the market. My bad. But active listings are up. So the number of homes for sale, that's up 21% year over year. That's again, you're going to see that later on in the video when I look at some of these Zillow listings. Let's look at homes sold in Franklin County. And even if you have a question about the Ohio housing market, you can drop that below too. By the way, if you come on here, all I ask is that you hit the like button and share this video with someone else. That's your price to come on and have me entertain you with housing market data. Down 7% in Franklin County. Homes sold. Which is crazy because I think if we look at Columbus, homes sold are actually up. But in Franklin County, it's down. So we're building inventory. We are in Columbus and Franklin County, but I'll look at Columbus here in a minute, but this is just the county of Franklin overall. Obviously, that includes a lot of areas like Dublin and, Reynoldsburg and whatnot. Median sale price, $331,000, but it's flat. This is it has kind of gone up and down this year, but we hit an all-time high in Franklin County at 344. So now 331. So it has dropped a little bit, but it's still expensive and still high overall if you look at the whole year. All right, let me go to Columbus since we're there. Yeah, look at the median sale price in Columbus, just the city of Columbus. $363,000. That's up 5% year over year. So Franklin County, flat. But in Columbus, up. And up a good amount. Nationally, home prices are up like 1.5% year over year. So gives you an idea. Columbus is still hot, as is most of Ohio. Let me look at new listings in Columbus. 731 new listings hit the market, up 5%. That's what I was saying. New listings are actually up in Columbus, but down in Franklin County. And I think homes sold up 1.6% over the last 4 weeks in the city of Columbus. And we looked at median sale price, $363,000. Crazy, right? Did you ever think that Columbus would be $363,000 for the median home price? Now, let me show you this next while we're at it. I think this tells a story. So this is a data set I put together by pulling info from the multiple listing service that realtors use to access the housing market. And it really has the best data in there. And the reason why I use the MLS data is it breaks it down by price category, whereas Redfin doesn't. In other words, I was able to look at how many homes, that's what this box is right here, how many homes sold. That should say 2025. I'll correct that. There we go. How many homes sold under $300,000 versus over $300,000? And this tells you why that median price continues to rise, because the median is in the middle. It's not an average. So over $300,000 homes, this is in June only, there were 1,882 homes sold in Central Ohio. So all of Central Ohio. So that includes Franklin County, Licking County, Knox, probably Pickaway, Fairfield, Delaware, Union, all those counties. 1,882 homes sold over 300 grand. Under 300 grand, 1,148 homes sold. So when you look at that, it's easy to see that the majority of homes that are selling are over $300,000. So that's why the median price continues to go up. Now, if we look at this and say, all right, let me go down to this right here. New listings under $300,000. We had 1,503 listings hit the market last month under 300 grand. Over 300 grand, 2,447 new listings have hit the market so far. So year to date, we're actually down 7% with the number of new listings under 300 grand. We're 20% more new listings hitting the market over 300 grand compared to last year, basically, this time last year. So we're really like lacking in the inventory growth when it comes to homes that are priced under 300 grand. And then obviously when homes sell, the majority of the homes out there that are actually selling are over 300 grand. The median price is going to go up. So that's some like really nerdy details, but I thought, hey, it could make sense to show you that information. I hope it helps a little bit, kind of shed some light on why this is happening. We got 22 people on. Thank you for joining us. Let me just take a couple comments here. Hey, Jason, thank you so much for all your hard work. I'm interested in Hancock County. I didn't have that on my list, so I'll add that one. Okay. And then finding out what's the best county to buy some acreage for small family farming. Boy. That would be, yeah, that's a tough question. I'm gonna have to think about that one. I may have to get back to you after the live. If you, Amanda, if you can email me in my description, I've got an email address. If you can email me and just remind me of what your question was on the best county to buy some acreage. I don't think I can answer that in like just on the spot. I'd need to do some research, but I'm happy to poke around and see if I can come up with an answer or connect you with somebody who like knows acreage really well. Because there are people out there that specialize in land. And then tell me how much land you want to buy. And then I will look at Hancock County in a minute. Thank you for the for joining and the question. No way to compare Cleveland versus Solon. Solon is more upscale area with high taxes. Okay. Let me I'm still going to see if I can do Solon. I'm going to try. Can you explain how Zillow makes estimate values? I used to have that at my fingertips. They use like I believe what Zillow is a great question. I believe what Zillow does, and you can probably Google this and find out, but I think they take like the middle part of the homes. Like in other words, they don't look at the top of the line. They don't look at the bottom end of the homes that have sold. They look at the middle. And I think they calculate it on homes that have, they get the comps by looking at homes that have sold, obviously. And they take away that top and that middle. And I think they just use like the middle third of homes. I believe that's how they do it. But that's a great question. I should know that off the top of my head, right? But I don't. Except what I gave you, and I hope that's right. But I would check it. I would double check that if I were you. Granville. I remember going there to play soccer games. They have a seemingly nice high school. Yeah, they do. They have a nice high school. Yep. And they may have to build more schools because of more people moving here, like everywhere else, right? That's cool. Thanks, Thomas, for joining us. Good, hot, and wet Ohio day. Yeah, it is. Just rained. Now it's hot as can. Now it's all humid out here on the porch again, but you guys know how that is. Fulton and Williams County in the house. Okay, you got it. Columbus got weird. Not 300K on the hilltop. Cleveland Avenue, Whitehall, Franklinton. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to see that. Like, there are deals out there to get. If you're patient and you hunt, you can find some opportunities and some markets that I didn't think you could find any, but I really looked through today, spent a couple hours looking and found some pretty good opportunities. Ohio running 300 to 400 for 3-bedroom build on your land. Yeah, easily 3 to 400, right? Easily. Yeah, new construction, like, I remember I got quoted new construction in, like, outside of I think it was, like, in, it could have been near New Albany, like, back in the day, like, in 2013 or 14, and it was, like I think my quote I got without the land was, like, 270 to build, like, a 200 or 2,500 square foot house or 2,000 square foot house. Now you're not gonna even touch anything under 400, doesn't seem like, let alone the land. The land's something completely different. But thanks for joining us, Music Mary. Logan County, you got it. I'll put that one down. Pizza, yeah, no way. Try 700 to 1 million. Where at? I don't know where. You have to tell me. I don't know what you're talking about. Parsons, Livingston, Ohio Avenue. Yeah, I can probably what neighborhood is that? What neighborhood do you want me to look in? I can probably do that on the MLS because I have Central Ohio MLS access, but I can't do it like in Cleveland. Very hard for me to do. But in Central Ohio, no problem. Akron, Canton. Yep, I can do that. Thanks for joining us, Christine. Thomas again. Oh, just listing off Columbus ghettos. I get it. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Land for sale in London, Ohio. You want me to look at that? Is that what you're saying? You have to tell me more specifically. Just got a house in Southwest Columbus. Our home value is going up in this area? I'll find out. And you guys got me all over the place. I'm gonna work today. Is it worth buying vacant land? It depends on what you want to do with it and where it is, right? And like, there's all kinds of factors there. Are you just going to buy and keep it for some developer? Is it a lot of land? Is it just a land that you're going to build on? If you're just holding land, I mean, you're just going to pay taxes on it. You can't really rent it necessarily. Though sometimes I guess you could if it was like big enough and you could have a hunter or a farmer on there, you could rent it. But generally speaking, land, if you just buy and hold it, it's kind of just you're kind of paying taxes unless you do something with it, develop it and then sell it, improve it. Oh, new construction for a 3-bedroom. Yeah, I mean, it depends on, you're talking about 700 of 1 million pizza. Yeah, it depends, right, where you are and what type of land you're buying and how big the lot is. I mean, you can buy new construction, like, I don't know, I did a video a while back in Ohio where in Etna or Pataskala, they were like 577. Yep. Oh, I see what you're saying, Space Ranger. All right. Space Ranger asks, yeah, prices in London. Okay. It's a lot of land. It's farmland. Yeah, I guess, one of the things you should probably look at is what is it zoned for? What are your plans for the property? Um, and what are the plans for the area? Like what's happening in the area? Are you looking to buy land to develop it and then sell it to a developer? People are doing that now. Or are you just looking to buy farmland and farm on it? That part I don't know anything about. I'm not a farmer, so I don't know anything about that. But yeah, it probably makes sense if you're looking at vacant land to that degree to get with somebody who knows vacant land, like big swaths of farmland, and they understand that business really well. So if you want to email me, my address is in the description below. I can connect you with a realtor who knows land in Ohio, vacant land, because it's kind of a specialty. Everybody has kind of their niche. Great questions though. All right, I got a lot to get to here, so I'll get going. Cleveland, I got that one. All right, let me see if I can get Solon on here. I don't know if I can. That seems to be a little challenging, but I may have to go to this area down here. Let's see, Solon. Whoop. Hang on one second. All right, regional. So in Redfin, you can come down to a place and city, and sometimes I get lucky and find one. Look at this, Solon, Ohio. May be able to get some data here for you. Let me go back to this for Seth. All right, let's look. Now, this is monthly data, not that you guys really care, but it's not like a rolling 4-week average like we were looking at before. This is monthly data, so it's just through June only. So inventory. Well, let's start with new listings for Solon. So this is for Solon, Ohio. 34 new listings hit the market in June. Now let me look at year-over-year change. That's down 2.9%. So you have fewer listings in Solon hitting the market than you did last year at this time or in June. Let's look at active listings and inventory and see how we are. Active listings up 4%. So you got 4% more homes for sale in Solon than you did this time last year. That's not that many. Like Columbus is up like what, 20% or so. Most areas in the country are up year over year in the number of active homes on the market. So to only be up, 4%, that's not that much. Especially when there's only, how many homes are there? They're going to tell us here. Let's see. In Solon, there's only 77 homes for sale. So let's look at homes sold and see how the homes sold are doing. Wow. 37 homes were sold last month, which doesn't seem like a lot. Year over year, that's 32% though. So you were up in number of homes sold last month. Let me go back to new listings real quick. But new listings, you're down 2.9%. So you got a lot of homes coming off the market in sales. New listings, you're not helping yourself at all. I would imagine the inventory there is very sparse. At least it looks that way. Let's look at the median sale price. Median sale price, yeah, you're right. Whoever said it's expensive, $585. Goodness gracious. It's amazing, these little pockets. Like Cleveland, the median sale price is like what, $250? But in Solon, it's $585. And that, let me look at year over year and see what that did year over year. That's up 47% year over year. But when you only have, a handful of homes that have sold, this number is going to be up and down every month. It's the same way in Granville. Like the median sale price fluctuates a lot. Like last month, it was $717. Now it's $605. So it's hard to get a gauge percentage wise. But the value, though, I mean, 585. Let's see where it started. Back in 2012, June of 2012, not that you care about that, but for context, $215,000 in Solon. Your peak was August of 2023. You hit 639 in Solon. And this is a 90-day period, by the way. That's how they do this. You can see it down here. Neighborhoods and zip codes regions are calculated for 90-day periods. That's kind of how they do that. But 639. Wow. But now, 585. But you can see the prices have gone up. I mean, that trend is up, right? Left to right. No doubt. Let me go back to inventory real quick before I move on to another area. I mean, right now, you've got 41 homes for sale. Yeah, 41 homes. Not that many. I mean, let's see. Go back to June of 2019, you had 144 homes for sale. So you've got like a fraction of what you had back before the pandemic. This chart right here, if you're trying to, people, you maybe you go to a barbecue, you go to a kid's sporting event, and parents are talking about the housing market and what's going on, or you hear the talking heads on, Fox or CNBC or something talking about the housing market. When you look at a chart like this helps you understand why prices are unhinged in many areas, including Ohio. Look in 2019, look at the number of homes you had for sale, 144. And then look at the inventory just fell. And now it's built a little bit, but nothing extraordinary. Now go back to 2012. Look at this. 228 homes for sale in Solon. A great case study to look at. Like, this shows you that if you are thinking of a housing market crash, like doom is coming for the market in Ohio, you're waiting for that crash. Not saying you are, but people do. Like, you have to look at the inventory, and prices were just coming out of the, the bottom of the basement in 2012 from the GFC. There were 228 homes for sale then. I mean, there could have been 400 homes for sale back in 2007 in Solon, but I don't have that data, unfortunately. So the point is, you look at the inventory, it's gone down, and now it's like at insane lows. That's why the home prices are expensive, and sellers are still in control in many areas. So if you see inventory building more than, like, if you see it shooting up rapidly, that's a good sign prices could be softening. And I'm seeing that in some areas of Ohio. I'm seeing more and more inventory. Anyway, that's what's happening in Solon. That was pretty fun. Thanks for suggesting that. All right, next one. Let's see. Fulton and William counties. Got it. Let's do it. Fulton and William counties. In Fulton County, let's see. Well, Fulton County, it's only showing 9 new listings that hit the market. Isn't Fulton County Toledo? Yeah, it's near Toledo. And then where's Williams County? Let me look at that real quick. County. Is that in Toledo as well? Oh man, that's on the border, huh? To the west. Okay. So yeah, in Fulton County, not that many listings hit the market. 9.25 in the last 4 weeks, according to Redfin data. Wow. Not that many. Homes sold. How many homes sold? 7 homes sold. So you had a few more new listings hit the market than were sold, but I don't know if that's going to help you at all. Active inventory, what's that doing? Wow, look at this. You're down 2.28% year over year in the number of homes for sale. So you have fewer homes for sale than you did last year. That's not normal. Most markets aren't like that. Most markets have more homes for sale, at least somewhat. Most markets in the U.S. So you're down. You have 86 homes for sale. Let's look at median sale price. Median sale price, what do we got? Down 3%, $207,000. Excuse me. But it's up and down a lot because you don't have that many transactions. Looks like you peaked at 285 at one point. But see, a realtor up there in Toledo would be able to give you much more granular data. They would be able to combine like the counties together if you wanted to kind of look at the overall picture. They'd be able to separate it by price points, by school district, all that stuff. I can't do that. Not with the Redfin data, unfortunately. I can kind of give you an overview though, and that's what I'm trying to do. So 285 median sale price. And then the other one was Williams, right? Williams County, Ohio. Let's look at new listings in Williams County. 7 listings. And you're down a lot. but it's only 7. Very hard to look at. So basically, it looks like there's hardly any inventory hitting the market. Is that true? Are you seeing hardly any homes for sale? There's 103 now. You're up 10% year over year in the number of homes for sale. So there are some listings out there. There are just not a lot hitting the market. Homes sold 10.25. So you had more homes sold, right, than listings. Yeah. According to this data, more homes came off the market selling than they actually were added. And that's not good for inventory. Median sale price, what's that doing in Williams County? 160 grand, down 8%. You peaked this year at 213 grand. But again, you can see these lines, they're all over the place. No real smoothness to them because of the low transaction amount. So it looks like prices, I mean, it's hard for me to say if prices are coming down overall in Williams County or Fulton County. It doesn't seem like they are. Let me look at a 12-week look and see what that looks like. Yeah. So this is over 12 weeks, not 4 weeks, but 170,000, up 8% over the last 12 weeks if you look at a 12-week rolling average. So like prices don't seem to be coming down there. They just don't. New listings, what are those doing over 12 weeks? Yeah, and here's like the danger there. Look at the new listings in Williams County over the last 12 weeks. You're down 15%. They're only 9. Homes sold, what do we got there? Up 6%, and there's 8. So you're buying, people are buying, people are selling. Let me look at active inventory, see what we got. Active homes for sale. Yeah, look at active homes for sale, up 32%. So there are just more homes on the market. A lot of times it's because homes are added, but people probably weren't buying homes earlier in the year as much. Maybe now they are. Interest rates have come down a little bit. And you're seeing some active listings come off the market, but you still have 32% more overall. But let's look at median days on market. I didn't check this in the other counties, but median days on market tells us how long homes are sitting. 60 days, up 22 days year over year. So homes are sitting a lot longer, hence why new listings aren't exploding, but you have a lot more active inventory. The homes that are sitting on the market are sitting a while. So this tells me, like, if it's 60 days, I may start looking at homes after 61 days. Right? If median is 60 days, then I go, all right, well, after 60 days, I'll get serious on a home. Then I know it's been on there a while. Then you can kind of find the low-hanging fruit, maybe. Again, I'll show you guys that at the end once I review these counties. I hope that helped. Let me see. Logan County, Music Mary. All right, let's do Logan County. Logan County. Let's do new listings in Logan. New listings, 18.92 weekly. If you go back and look at the last 12 weeks, this is that 12-week look, but maybe this is easier in some of these smaller counties. But that's up 30%. So you've got definitely trending upwards. I mean, look at that trend of new listings. You continue to add more and more as the year goes on. That's a good sign. That means, hey, maybe you'll see some more inventory coming to market. Yeah, look at this line. Look at that. Almost straight up. 24% more. 196 listings right now. And that's a 4-year high for this time of year. In 2022, you peaked at 205 listings, but now 196. But shoot, you started the year at 159 listings. At one point, you had 146 listings. Look back your low was like actually in 2020. at the beginning of 2024, like 119 listings, 122 listings. So yeah, you definitely have more. Let's look at the median sale price. 261, up 14%. Is it an all-time high? Not an all-time high, but close to it. Your all-time high was back in 2023 at 263. They started this year in Logan County at 231. Now 261. That's that. So that's the median price. It doesn't. So you are building inventory, but the prices haven't reflected any type of discounts yet. Massive discounts anyway. Though there are some people finding opportunities and getting, buying with a discount. Let me look at. I don't know if they have this anymore. Median days on market. We'll look at that. Yeah, look at the median days on market. 54 up 11 days. Homes are just sitting longer. That's contributing to a lot of the active listings. There's a lot of sellers, quite frankly, especially in Ohio, that don't need to sell their home. They may want to sell it or like consider it, or they have the attitude like, hey, if I can get the price I want, I'll sell it. And sometimes that price is outlandish, like 50,000 over where it should be. And those homes sit now. Like the strategy to test the water, test the market, as sellers like to say, that doesn't work now for the most part. You have to price it correctly. And that's the way real estate usually is. If it's not priced right, it's not going to sell. And so the days of like, hey, the house next door to me sold at 200. I'm going to put mine on for 249 because I have a finished basement. Come on, that's not going to work, right? Everybody thinks their house is better than their neighbors, by the way. That's just how people function. They're proud of their home. But a lot of sellers don't need to sell those, so they're not dropping the price to a point that buyers are like, oh, I'll take that deal. If they need to sell, they will drop the price substantially quickly and or come out of the gate with a lower price. If they need to sell, like they're pulling a fire alarm. Like if I don't sell this house, I'm not going to eat next month. That's when people need to sell. We're not seeing that really overall. A little bit, just a little bit, but not a ton. Not anything like the GFC. That's Logan County, though. Logan County, Ohio. Pretty cool spot. All right. Hope that helped. Akron, Canton. Yep. Let's do it. Let's do Akron and Canton. Let me do new listings. New listings in Akron, Ohio. That's up next. Christine asked for that. Thank you, Christine. 222 new listings. 6.8% up year over year. So you do have more new listings. People are putting their home on the market there more than they did last year. Although this is what's crazy. A lot of markets saw this same activity back in 2022. You had 279 new listings hit the market during this period of time. Right now, 222. So in 2022, a few years ago, that's when interest rates right here at this spot, right around this area, interest rates started to go up. The Fed started raising their rate. The 10-year Treasury shot through the roof. If you look at a 10-year Treasury chart, you see the line goes almost straight up. So that's when interest rates spiked, and sellers were like, "Man, I need to sell now, like before the housing market crashes." That's what they thought. So they went put their house on the market. A lot of people did, and you saw new listings rise in a lot of metros. And let's see if active listings rose during that period of time. Yeah, same thing. Like, look at the active listings rise during 2022. I mean, you were at like a low of 1,000 units on the market, houses on the market, and it peaked in 2022 at 1,600. That's a big jump in a few months. And then look at the active inventory now. You've got 1,500. So it's rising. It has a similar type of feel, but not as severe, not as like right up, not as steep of a curve. So you have 22% more homes on the market right now, approximately. Look at homes sold. What did they do? Boy, these are all close together. Let's see. 176 you've sold. That's 3.1% up year over year. And then look, in 2022, people were active, right? I mean, you could see the number of home sales went up rapidly because there were more homes on the market. Let's look at prices and see what those did. Yeah, so right now, 242, it's an all-time high in Akron. All-time high of median sale price, up 6.2% year over year. That's the highest it's ever been, right? I mean, yeah. Before, your peak was, what's that? 239, 238, now 242, up 6%. A lot of areas look like this in Ohio where we're at or near record home prices. Got a hair on me or something. So yeah, it's a lot of people, it's just unhinged. The prices are unhinged. Now remember, I showed you that chart earlier. More expensive homes are selling versus lower price homes, and that's keeping that median sale price high. But make no mistake, people are buying expensive homes still. The buyers have not left. Now look at the median sale price back in 2022 when we saw that increase of inventory. You can see the prices went up, probably seasonality, but then look at them fall. They didn't fall a ton in Akron like they did in Austin, Texas, for instance. But that inventory, that sudden shot of inventory, definitely made home prices start to wane a little bit. I mean, that year in 2022, they ended at 190, but then look what happened after that. The market kind of normalized and it went back to growing, and then it hasn't stopped. So this year you started at 214. Now you're 242. Will it keep going? Depends on how much inventory builds. It really does. You probably need a lot more inventory to cause some type of huge price conundrum. And you probably need it fast. If it builds slowly over time, it'll take a long time for prices to change. All right. And you wanted to know Canton, right? Canton. Canton. Hey, if you're on, give me a thumbs up. It'll get more people involved. New listings in Canton, Ohio. 112, up 0.7%. Oops, let me go to home sold. 92, up 3%. Home sold in Canton. Active inventory. What we got here? 14.66% up year over year. Definitely more homes for sale. 790 homes. And look, back in 2022, same thing. You had that explosion of inventory like you did in Akron. Let's look at median sale price. I mean, is this an all-time high? 228. You're tied for an all-time high. You hit the all-time high last year in July. Now you're hitting it earlier, 228. So, you know, if you continue to trend upwards like you are, prices are going to continue to go up. And a factor of that is just the sheer fact that a lot of people want a move-in ready house, something that looks nice on the outside, that looks nice on the inside when they move in. Those homes are still in short supply if they're priced right. Very short supply. So when something like that hits the market, people buy it. It's the beat up homes, the homes that are overpriced, the homes that need updating, homes in less desirable areas, or like next to a factory maybe, or in a floodplain on a busy street. I know of a house in Newark that is on a busy street. They can't sell it. Actually, a viewer on the channel, and I feel bad for him because a couple years ago that house would have moved quickly, and it's a good area. Like, it's an area that would be good to. It's not a bad area of town by any means, but it is on a busy street, and so that hurts it in a market that's normal. It's the only thing you can really do is drop the price. All right, that's median sale price for Canton. Thank you. Let's do the next one. What do we got? Give me some more. What do you got? Akron, Canton. I did that. After the deportation in Springfield, should have a lot of houses on the market. Just a thought, but I'm not looking in that area. I've looked at some deals in Springfield lately. Let's see. Let's look at Springfield and see what we can find. Just on the charts anyway. Some big houses in Springfield. Like huge houses. Huh. Look at new listings in Springfield. Flat. Basically flat from last year. Homes sold. Wow, look at that. Up 12% in homes sold. So people are buying homes there. Did you know, fun fact, like 20% to 25% of all homes sold in Ohio right now are being bought by an investor. Basically it's between like 20 and 25, depending on what area you look at, are being bought by an investor. Investors are buying. Now, I'm not sure exactly where they're finding the opportunities, but they are buying. Let's do active. Active up 42%, 345 homes on the market. So there's a lot more inventory in Springfield. Now what's happened with pricing? Let's see. Wow, look at pricing. This is the weird thing. This is why, my thumbnail said hidden deals, right? And the title had crisis in it because it's a crisis because prices aren't coming down overall for most people, but there are some hidden deals out there. 204,000. It's an all-time high by far. Not even close. Up 9% year over year. 9% for Springfield. Jeez. And it's been high all year. My goodness. Man. That's crazy. You would think with that explosion of inventory, we would see prices come down. But I guess inventory has been flat for the last few weeks. But shoot, man, wouldn't you think that you'd see prices come down eventually if there's more inventory? But it must not be the right inventory. It's a weird market, folks. Okay, that was Springfield. Good stuff. What's this? Oh, you guys are talking about something. Stringtown Road, Southwest Columbus is about to go bust because the restaurant industry is failing. Huh. People are eating out much less and year-over-year sales are down. Are you in the restaurant business, Thomas? Do you know that? Why that area, though? I know that area, but why just that area? Why not other areas? Jason, is there a way to learn about planned future development in Ohio, like housing developments, businesses, etc.? Well, so how I do it is I do two things. One is I set up Google alerts for new development. What's the other keyword I use? New development, investment, new employer. So I use ChatGPT to come up with keywords for development. Then I put that into Google alerts and I set up Google alerts to give me what's going on in the market in different areas that I'm interested in. And then I also ask ChatGPT and I pay for the service. So I use their upgraded service and I put into ChatGPT, they have a deep research option where it takes like 10, 15 minutes to run the search and ask it for development, new developments happening in different areas, wherever you want to buy or whatever you're looking at. And I continually do that. And yeah, it'll come up with articles and nuggets of what's going on. The other thing you can do if you really want to get granular is you can go into YouTube. Sometimes has the videos of local meetings of municipalities, And that's where all the gems are, because you can listen to them talk about what's happening in the area. It takes a lot of time because you got to you got to watch the video. Although there are ways to skin that cat too. You can download the transcript and then put it into ChatGPT and have it scan it. You could do that as well. It just depends on how much time you want to take. But that's beyond just going very granular like that on a municipality level. I use Google and ChatGPT to do it. So that's kind of the. Oh, the other thing is Business First magazine. It costs money, but if you look at Columbus Business First magazine, there's a lot of info in there. If it around Columbus anyway, I'm sure Cleveland and Cincinnati have the same thing. Places like Outback Steakhouse and Texas Roadhouse are in trouble. Huh, I didn't know that. Solon, not Salon. Solon. I just learned something, Chris. Thank you. Solon. Thank you. All right, now I know. London is high on property taxes. Everywhere's high on property taxes, man. Space Ranger Recording Studio. That's cool. Can you check Riverly, Ohio? Sure. I've never even heard of that area, but I'll look at it. Let's look at Riverly, Ohio. Let me come down here and do it. This thing didn't even like that. Let me see. Oh, look at that. There it is. Riverlay. Is that how you say it? Riverlay? I've never heard of it. I don't know if you guys saw that video I did. People called me out more than I've ever been called out before on YouTube, like repeatedly in Ohio, because I was talking about Sandusky County, and just stupid me, I was like, oh, Sandusky County, that's where Cedar Point is, because it's in Sandusky, right? And so I said, oh, Sandusky County, that's where Cedar Point's located. And like, I'm still getting flamed for it. People are like, no, that's Erie County, idiot. I'm like, oh, okay. So I know obviously now, but man, people jumped on me big time. So I may mispronounce an area of Ohio or not know where something is, but I'm learning. I've lived here a while, but you never know. Still mess things up. Let's look at new listings. In Riverly, I don't know how you say it. 34 new listings. Whoops, this is saying Salon still. That's not right. Let me do this. Look at this. See, makes it very difficult to give you any info. One new listing, very small town. This is telling me there's only one new listing. Not a lot. Might as well just look at actives. Yeah, you'd really need a realtor in that area to help you out on this one. Maybe the inventory. Yeah, it's basically not giving me any data at all. I guess it's too small of a metro. I apologize. What county is it in? I could look at the county for you. Oh, it's a village in Franklin County. Oh, it's surrounded by Worthington. I didn't even know that. Had no idea. Huh. Okay. Well, let me do Worthington. Let me go up here and do Worthington. Oh, that's not going to help me. I'm going to have to go down here and do it. Sorry, guys. This is live, so I'm doing my best. Worthington, Ohio. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Active inventory in Worthington. 26 homes for sale right now, and that is basically flat from last year. New listings, how many homes are hitting the market in Worthington? You got 22 homes hitting the market. Not a ton. It's tough to buy in Worthington. Very tough. Although one of the deals I found that I'll show you guys later, I did find in Worthington, I think. I think that's where it was. I don't know if it's in Worthington schools or not. Let's see, home sales. How many people are buying homes in Worthington? 19 home sales. Let's look back. I mean, In June of 2017, you had 34 home sales. So it's still slow there, it looks like. Let me go back to new listings and see where that trended. Yeah, 22 right now. Let's look back before the pandemic. 39 back in 2019. New listings, and now you only had 22. So a lot more active back in before the pandemic. Tough in Worthington. Probably a lot of people are like, I'm not going to sell. I mean, it would cost them a lot more to buy another home somewhere, and they pay a lot more higher interest rate usually. So that's what's keeping people kind of locked in. Median sale price in Worthington, $565. Holy shnikes. Man. It was $219 back in 2012, not to make you feel bad, but now $565. That's an all-time high. Jeez. Out of curiosity, I'm going to look at Gahanna. It's kind of like it's around that same kind of area. Is Worthington higher than Gahanna? Yeah, $438 for Gahanna median sale price. And let me look at actives. Whoops. Gahanna. What's that? 60? 56? You got 56 homes right now in Gahanna for sale? Yeah, but look at the inventory trend. Look at that. I mean, look at it from 2012 through now. Just drops. I'm seeing that all over Ohio where inventory has gone down in most areas since 2012, since we peaked during the GFC. I just keep seeing that over and over. Anyway, that's Gahanna. What's going on? Briefly. And Worthington. Now I know about Riverlay. Is that how you say it? Never heard of it, but now I know. Not hardly any jobs in Solon. Not Solon. How about the Canton Maslin area? I just did Canton, didn't I? I did Canton just a little while ago. I can do Toledo. I'll do Toledo. Let me go up here and look at Toledo. New listings in Toledo, Ohio. What do we got? Wow. Down 0.3%. That's crazy. It's crazy that there aren't more people listing homes for sale. People just don't need to sell. They're like, no, I'm good. I'll wait for things to improve. Remember, a lot of people selling a home are buying a home. So if they're like, man, if I sell this $200,000 home or $250,000 or $300,000 home, whatever, and I want to go buy a $400,000 home, well, interest rates are double, maybe, and they're going to pay a lot higher price for the same type of house. So they're like, you know what? I'll just stay put. No thanks. And they don't want to go rent because rents are expensive. Probably more than their current housing payment. Up 10% in active listings. So you've got 1,800 homes on the market. So you definitely have more inventory in Toledo. Look at the sale price, though. What in the world? $228, up 7%, an all-time high by far. You've been all-time highs for like the last, what? 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Oh, it's not an all-time high. Well, it's down slightly, but from last week, but it's basically they're rounding up at 228. So it's tied for the all-time high, let's say. Man. Who's buying all the homes in Toledo? Investors, maybe, I guess. Is it a good investor town? I don't know. But homes sold up 7%. People are buying more homes in Toledo than they did last year. Are people coming down from Michigan or people coming down from, I don't know, Canada? I have no idea. Wow. That's I mean, it's just unhinged. The prices are unhinged. And you guys know that. Okay. Goodness gracious. the border. You want to do Vermilion? Okay. Yeah, I know where that is. Let me see if I can use this down here. Vermilion. Vermilion, Ohio. Inventory. What do we got? 31 homes on the market. So you are building some inventory because you can see back like what? Last June, you had 22. Now you got 31. Let me look at new listings real quick. 17 new listings hit the market. You had 23 last year at this time. Again, there's not a ton of listings, so it's going to be up and down, but you're not really adding any more listings than you did this time last year. Wow. Median sale price. What's that doing? Goodness gracious. Look at this. $345. $345. $345,000 in Vermilion. Homes are expensive. Jeez. What's that year over year? Year over year, up 38% year over year. That's crazy. Again, not a lot of transactions, so the year over year is going to be all over the place. But make no mistake, I mean, if you look at the value and just look at the trend, it's definitely gone up and gone up quick. 345 in Vermilion. So unless something magical happens with inventory of homes for sale, I mean, again, just like the other charts, it's the same story, different area. A lot of homes back in 2012, 2013, and then that inventory just fell and fell. It was falling well before the pandemic. Like Ohio was headed for higher prices without the pandemic, although the pandemic certainly hurt or didn't help the situation and hurt buyers. But like you got to some serious lows. Like at one point you had 8 homes on the market in March of 2024. So the inventory was just gone. I mean, there was a point at which, Bonnie, there was a point at which you actually had some homes for sale like years ago, right? I mean, 94 homes, is that a ton? No, but it's better than 30. Like June of 2016, you had 99 homes for sale. And now 31. And it hasn't really recovered. I mean, so could it recover? It could, but now you just got to be more strategic if you really want to find a deal or you want to find a discount. You got to be really patient. Usually you're going to have to do some work. Usually going to have to do some rehab, repair work, and it's not going to probably be move-in ready. Otherwise, you're going to pay retail pricing. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Or you're going to have to buy off market. Thank you, Bonnie, for suggesting that. Have you looked at Delaware County? I have not. Let's look at Delaware County. I'm kind of liking this chart better for some reason today. Maybe I'll start using this. Oh, you guys have to tell me if you like this chart better versus the one above that's more of a weekly chart. Delaware. Oops, I got to go here. Sorry. Delaware County, Ohio. New listings in Delaware County. What do we got? 390 new listings. Let's see. How is that year over year? 10% year over year. So you are adding more new listings than you did this time last year. Good. You need that. And by the way, this monthly chart, you guys can go here anytime you want. It's free, obviously, at Redfin. This breaks it down also by like condo, multifamily, 2 to 4 units, single family, single units only. I have no idea what the difference there is. And then townhouses. I use all residential because all these are considered residential. So you could break out just condos if you wanted to see really what's going on. And if you need a market analyzed like this in Central Ohio, let me know. You can email me, and I can definitely get it done for you. So those are new listings. Let's look at the inventory. Yeah, look at the inventory, up 19% in Delaware County. Let's look at how many you got. 767 homes for sale. Okay. Median sale price, what do we got? Geez, look at this. $539 for Delaware County. And it's just continued to go up, right? I mean, it started way back when in 2012 at $239. And see what I mean? It was going up all through 2015, 16, 17. But then look what happened in, this is like depressing, but look what happened in like early January. It went up to 382, but you can kind of see the trajectory of the price just went up much steeper right as the pandemic hit. Is it at an all-time high? Yeah, all-time high, 539. Yikes. And year over year, what is that? Up 0.9%. But man, like look back in January of 2021. In 1 month, year over year change was 27%. I mean, that's what really tanked us, or that really hurt the pricing as far as made it a lot more unaffordable. Now, the price growth is slowed, so prices aren't accelerating as fast since it hit, since 2021, but they're still going up. Now you're at an all-time high. Man, 539. So we'll go back to inventory real quick and look and see the trend. It's a similar trend to what we saw in some other areas of Ohio, right? But not as severe until the pandemic hit. I mean, look at that. And when the pandemic hit, look how it just went whoop, way down and never really recovered. But now it's starting to build some inventory. There's no doubt. There could be really expensive homes, homes that, most people can afford, or maybe beat up homes. But there is more inventory in Delaware County. Cool. Thanks, T Greasy. The names kill me. Let's look. Got a couple comments here. Have you ever done a church property? You mean sell one or buy one? Neither. Neither. I've looked at some, like old churches in Ohio that were converted to houses. I have looked at some. Oh, Fairfield County, Pickerington and Fairfield County. Yeah, I'll definitely look at that. Yeah, top dollar everywhere, right? I'm thinking of converting my property to a church to get rid of property tax. I don't know. Can you do that? I'm not a tax expert, but I know enough to be dangerous. But yeah, and then I don't know how that works, but that would be hilarious. I wonder like what the rules are there. Yeah, because property taxes stink. Thomas, panic selling will begin before the end of 2025. Everyone going to rush for the exits and inventory will explode. The catalyst will be the 10-year treasury spike and a rug pull on the S&P 500. Hey, I appreciate you calling your shot, Thomas, and being specific about it and telling us why, instead of just saying we're all doomed. I get those comments. I have another channel, by the way, a national channel, just Housing Nerd. This is the Ohio Housing Nerd. And on my normal channel, I get a lot more doom comments. People in Ohio seem to be a lot more positive, but yay for us. But this is interesting. So you're saying the 10-year will spike and the rug pull in the S&P. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not sure the 10-year is going to drop very much, even if the administration and Trump decide to do something strange with the 10-year treasury and the yield curve and all that. I think the dropping of the Fed rate will if they do drop the Fed rate by the end of, you said by the end of 2025. Yeah, you could be right. But when Powell leaves, that's when Trump will put in somebody like Scott Bessent or Kevin Walsh or what's the lady's name? Michelle Bowman as the new Fed chair. And supposedly he's only going to put somebody in who's going to cut rates to the bone. Like he thinks the Fed rate should be 1%. Of course, he also said that tariffs would be like 500%, right? And they're not. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to rates. But you think by the end of the year, the 10-year spikes and a rug pull in the S&P. Well, if the 10-year spikes for some reason, but what you have, I guess I'd like to understand what you think. What's the catalyst? Anybody can answer this. What's the catalyst for the 10-year going higher? What is it? Just debt, inflation, like what? Like the 10-year is going to have to spike from something. And the S&P has been on a tear. I mean, a tear. It's just like, I don't know, whatever market we just looked at, Delaware County or Akron or Toledo. You scratch your head and go, how can the prices can't go higher? Yes, they can, and they do, and they will, and they are. Every day you look at the S&P and think, can it really keep going? Yes, it can. Let the bulls run, I guess, right? Rentals are at all-time highs. They are at all-time highs. Although in many markets, it's odd. Rentals, I was talking to a couple of landlords yesterday. They're not like, in a lot of markets, they're not equaling the home prices, the rise in home prices. Not that they should, but I still think they have room to go on rentals. But rents are high. They're really high. Especially A-class rentals, like A-class buildings, brand new buildings, very expensive. Whenever they create low-income housing neighborhoods, housing prices decline. There aren't a lot of low-income housing anymore being built. Yeah, I did Akron, Canton. We all know about that. S&P closed at another all-time high today. Yeah, I think is a final short squeeze to shake out all the paper hands holding shorts options before the rug pull. It could be. It could be. Got my new taxes. Here we go. Tax things. Got my new taxes for and rental home. Doubled land value, Fairfield County, Ohio. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked about Fairfield County. But that's crazy. Yeah, taxes are ridiculous. As a landlord, I get my tax bills and I'm like, man, this is crazy. I should just dump these and invest in Bitcoin. But I do like having rentals. Fairfield County. Let's look at this. Fairfield County. What do you got? All right. 479 homes for sale. And that's like what? Going all the way back. Wow. Going all the way back to 2019. You got to go all the way back to June. Right? Am I right? Yeah, June of 2019 to find this many homes on the market in Fairfield County. They have a lot of inventory compared to the last 5 years. Like you look at this line and just go across, a lot more homes for sale. I think Franklin County looks similar. So yeah, just more homes on the market than you've had in the last few years. Now, the danger is if interest rates drop, if they do, I'm not saying they will, but if they do drop, what happens to home prices? Probably goes up, right? Home prices would probably go up if they drop too much. If they drop like a quarter a point, half a point, will it make a big difference? Maybe not. They drop a whole point for some reason. However it happens, yeah, then more buyers can come to the market. Did you hear that they're going to reduce or that Trump's trying to eliminate the capital gain tax on a home sale? But it's only on your primary home. And right now, the first $250 if you're single of gain or $500K if you're married. I'm not a tax expert, so you should get tax advice directly from a accountant. But what I know about real estate tells me that, you know, the first $250 are already forgiven. The first $500 if you're a couple forgiven as far as profit on your primary residence. But Trump wants to get rid of that to spur home sales. So that would help people buying and selling homes. Well, really selling homes, over $500,000, probably. Expensive homes. More so like in California, a lot of areas now over 500, but even some areas of Ohio. Because you can get hammered on property or on capital gain tax if you sell even a primary home and just make a ton of money on it, which is easy to do now because prices have gone crazy. Anyway, back to Fairfield County. Sorry. All homes for sale, 479. You got a lot of homes. Let's look at home sales. How many homes are selling? 199. That's a good amount too. But you added a lot more than you took away. What about new listings? Yeah, look at the new listings. 265. Is that June? Okay, June of 2022, you had 301. June of 2021, you had 308. Now you've got 265, but that's more than you had since what? Since 2022. So in the last 3 years, that's like a 3-year high for new listings in Fairfield County. Now let's look at median sale price. $350,000. Fairfield County's big too, right? It goes all the way up from Lancaster all the way up to like the outskirts of Columbus. But $350,000, is that an all-time high? Not quite. 357 was last year, but let's look at the year-over-year change. Yeah, I mean, so I'm seeing this again and again. The year-over-year change is shrinking. The growth is shrinking of pricing. So it's not that prices have come down, but the year-over-year change isn't as big as it was from the pandemic. I mean, if you had like a trend line, you could see how this is going this way up. It's going from left to right. I mean, at one point in March of 2020, home prices were up 27% year over year for Fairfield County. So now, up 2.9%. So it's slowing down. Hasn't gone negative though. I mean, overall, you're not seeing lower home prices. But let's look at, while we're at it, let's do Reynoldsburg and see what the difference is. What do you think? Should I do Reynoldsburg or should I do what's it called? Pickerington. Did you say Pickerington or Reynoldsburg? Oh, you said Pickerington. My fault. Pickerington. What? Am I spelling it wrong? Oh, that's a county. Sorry. Come on. Sometimes you have to reset this thing. Oh, that's because I use Metro. Pickerington, Ohio. Here we go. Sorry for the delay. Let's see. New listings. 48 new listings in Pickerington. That's, I mean, it's about what you had last year. Pretty close to it. Very close to what you had last year at this time in Pickerington. Let me do sales. Home sales. How many homes are selling? 44. Last year you had 39, so a few more homes sold. New listings. I don't think we did. Oh, yeah, we did new listings. Inventory. How many homes on the market? Yeah, look at this. Same story as Fairfield County. 87 right now. And that is, I mean, I got to go all the way back to July, June. Yeah. July of 2020. I got to go all the way back to July of 2020 to get that much inventory. So inventory is building. I mean, it's right here, right? It just depends on what type of home you're looking for or I don't even know if you are looking, and what type of home is for sale out there and if it matches. But the inventory, you can tell it dipped big time in like 2016 and then shot up, and then the pandemic killed it, right? All the way down. At one point, you only had 26 homes for sale. Cheese. But your high, at least as this chart goes, was back in April of 2012. Yeah, you had like 142 homes for sale. So you're building inventory. You are. All right. Good. Thank you for asking for that. I like the church idea, converting to avoid property taxes. That's pretty funny. Oh, this is a great one to look at. Yeah, Yellow Springs. I've been wanting to look at this one because I wonder how much influence Chappelle has. I should go down there and cover that market on the street. The date is probably going to be very sparse because I can't imagine a lot goes on there. But I wonder what the prices look like. Oops, come on. What? All right. Let me just look at median sale price first. Median sale price in Yellow Springs, $483. $483. What about inventory? How many homes are out there on the market? 23. And you can see they've been building inventory a lot. Maybe there are new houses being constructed. I don't know. I don't know anything about that area, except that Dave Chappelle, I guess, lives there. And I've tried to get tickets to the shows down there. They're incredibly expensive. I'm like, man, Dave Chappelle's funny, but he's not that funny. I'm sure it's a great show, though. 23 homes for sale. Let me go back to how many homes are selling. Oh, you had 12 home sales last month. So people are buying homes there, but that price, $483. Is that an all-time high? Not quite, but it's dang close. Let me look at the year over year real quick in Yellow Springs. Yeah, it's going to be all choppy because there's not that much data. That's kind of pointless to look at. But yeah, homes are expensive there. I wonder if that's just the Chappelle effect. And by the way, let me know what area of Ohio I should go to and like analyze like on the street and like do a video, like a walk and talk from that area. Like, let me know what an interesting area would be. I've got Yellow Springs on my list. But yeah, if you've got one out there, you can put it in the comments now or after the video's done, whatever. Just, I want to go to an interesting housing market where things have changed rapidly. Yeah, Yellow Springs, huh? Any thoughts? I haven't done really Cincinnati yet. Any thoughts on Cincinnati or outskirts? Mom and dad about to list their house in September, and hopefully prices will still be good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure they will be. Where? Tell me where exactly. Is it Cincinnati or is it like Mason or what? Yeah. So if you can tell me, I can come back to it. Because I want to be as specific as possible. I don't think you did. I don't think I did that. I may have skipped it if you asked for it earlier. My fault. Let me do Hancock County. I don't think I did it yet. Let's do new listings in Hancock County. 78. What would you have last year? How many? 84. So you got fewer new listings in Hancock County. Look, where is that? Oh, near Findlay, huh? That's where that is, or in Findlay, or surrounding Findlay. Let's look at inventory. 212. 212,000. No, not 212,000. Geez. 212, sorry. 212 homes for sale in Hancock County. Is that a lot? Last year you had 162. So it's more than you had last year by a good amount, right? 212 to 162. You got 40 homes, 40 more homes. I mean, when you only have 200 homes, that jump is good. You need that. Again, look back through the history of time and look at where inventory has gone. Anyone who's telling you that the crash is just around the corner. I guess it depends on what just around the corner means for somebody. But if you just got to look historically at inventory and go, how much do we have? Do we have enough to cause enough seller pain? I don't know. I mean, it's continued to drop, and it dropped big time after COVID. And now it's just limping out of the gutter. Although you do have more. I mean, let's look back in 2012. Look at this. You had 539 homes for sale. And now 212. So like less than half the inventory. By the way, here at the top of Redfin, of their selections, people always ask, what's the difference between inventory and active listings? Inventory is the number of homes for sale at the end of that month. So the end of June, there were 212 homes for sale in Hancock County. Active listings is how many homes were for sale at any period during that month. Like if you look at the month and you look at all the inventory that was available that month, how much was for sale? And I think they average it. So active listings are usually higher. Yeah. Look, see, they show 311 active listings, but in inventory, they're only showing 212 because at the end of the month, there were 212 listings. That's the one I use, is inventory. Because active listings, it's like, well, who cares how many were available at any time during the month? I want to know how many the month ended with. But anyway, that's some Redfin data guidance, I guess you want to call it. There you go, Hancock County. Have you done Washington Courthouse? I have not done Washington Courthouse. Might as well, right? I like this monthly chart for some reason now. Because I can look at some smaller data, smaller areas. Washington Courthouse, Ohio. And by the way, you can compare them, right? Like, so this now on the screen, I have Yellow Springs on here and Washington Courthouse. So you can compare different areas if you want to. It's kind of interesting, but it's not a line graph, so sometimes it's harder to compare. At least I think it is. 49 homes on the market at the end of June. You had 49 homes. How many did you have last year? Look at this. Look at this. You had 37. So there is a difference there. 10, 12 homes. Is that anything to be excited about? I don't know. I mean, not really, probably. But that's that like Stringtown Road, right? Isn't that? Or is that Grove City that Thomas was talking about? It's around that area, right? $17 homes hit the market, new listings last month. What'd you have last year? 22. So fewer new listings, unfortunately. That's not good. Sales, how many people are buying homes? 19 last month. Last year, 18. Jeez. So people are, I guess, buying homes, not more than last year, nothing substantial. Let's look at the price. $220,000. You peaked in November at $265 in Washington Courthouse. And again, the trend goes up, obviously, like everything else, the more and more expensive. Not seeing huge price changes or crashes, I wouldn't think. Yeah, you're up 15% in June with median sale price. Not a lot of transactions, though, so it's hard to really get a gauge. But it's not, prices aren't crashing there by any means. You just don't have a lot of inventory. Let's go back to the inventory and look. Same story. What happened here? This is, you had 65 in 2021. What was the peak? 87 back in 2014, which still isn't that many homes, I guess. Although Washington Courthouse isn't that big. And now 49. So you look at the best of times with the inventory, you had 80 some homes. Now you have 49. Now remember, this doesn't exactly capture all the new construction out there. I mean, there's a ton of new construction that builders don't list on the market. They don't have to. There's no rule they do. And some builders just choose not to list it on the MLS. So if there is, I'm sure there's a lot of new construction out there. I'm guessing there is. And that may not be captured here in all the active inventory. All right, let me do a couple more and I'll show you those homes I found. Right, there's only 88 counties. So eventually I'm going to, run out of counties to do. Maybe I'll do a live where I do all 88. It'll take me like 10 hours. I got Fairfield County. Yep. What counties are included in the earlier charts that say Central Ohio? Oh, you're talking about this chart here, I think. Oh, no, this. This? I assume you're talking about this, Chad. So it's basically it's Franklin County for the most part. It's Franklin County, Licking County, Knox, Fairfield, Pickaway, Madison, Union, Delaware. I say Licking. Muskingum is in there. Some of Muskingum County's in there. Richland County, I think, is in there. That was added recently. If you look at Franklin and then the surrounding counties, that's kind of the MLS for Central Ohio. Now, they do pick up listings in other weird areas of Ohio, like, I don't know. I've seen listings on the MLS for like Sandusky. I've seen them down south for Cincinnati before, but not many. So overall, it's just like Columbus, Franklin County, the surrounding counties of that. Great question, though. I think that's what you were looking at, right? I hope that answered your question, Chad. Thanks for joining us. What's up, John? You're joining us on the Ohio channel. Thanks for thanks for hanging out. Buy SQQQ. Yeah, you could. Is that the short one? I can't remember. I was getting confused. Yeah, that's the short one. The Pro Shares Ultra Short. Be careful on that one, folks. I got hammered on that one during the tariff debacle. Like, I mean, I jumped on a live and was jumping up and down with my portfolio, and then because it's a short on I think it's a triple leverage short or a double leverage short on the S&P, right? Or is it on the NASDAQ? I can't remember which one. But I got hammered big time. I was like, whoops, because, the market was tanking. But then they had that one day where the market had like the best day it's had since like 2010 or something. I was like, oh, man. Anyway, watch that one up. They keep trying to redistrict Ohio so they can keep raising property taxes. Yeah, man, property taxes are unhinged. They just are. And I don't think they're going to get any better anytime soon. Will we abolish them? Obviously, I'm doing a lot of videos on property tax. I interviewed I've got another like grassroots person from Licking County I just interviewed. I'll have that video out soon. So we're trying to get the word out about, the amendment to abolish property tax. But like, even if it gets passed, do you think the lawmakers are going to allow it to actually do anything? Are you going to you think the lawmakers are actually going to put it in practice? I mean, they have to replace the revenue somehow. That's the question, right? How are they going to replace the revenue? It could take them a decade to figure that out. So I don't have my hopes up, but we'll do what we can to spread the word. And it depends on what they replace it with. Like, if it makes it more expensive for people, did we shoot ourselves in the foot? I just don't like being taxed on unrealized gain. Like, I haven't gained any money from my house going up in value. I haven't sold it. So why should I pay tax on it? I'd rather just get a bill in the mail personally. Why are you bearish big tech, John? Oh, okay. You guys are talking stock. I want to buy a ghost town. It'd be pretty fun. Wondering about Lewis Center. That's between Worthington and Delaware. Yeah. It's expensive as Worthington. I don't know. Let's find out. And if I forget you or forget your area, I'll get it on the next one. Just put it in the comments after the video is done, or email me directly and I'll get you info. But I do want to jump into, how long have we been on? Hour and 40 minutes. I want to jump on and show you the Zillow listings. No, we want Lewis Center. I don't know if it's going to give me that. All right. I'm going to have to do this then. All right. So this is the MLS. Let me do this and look at Lewis Center. There we go. Lewis Center. Lewis Center. So obviously this looks much different than Redfin because this is the MLS. So the first thing you can look at is median sale price, $591 in June. Last year in June, it was $583. So it seems like it's about where Worthington is in pricing, up 1.45%. Year to date, Lewis Center is at $549. Last year, $549.5. Basically flat year to date. So if you look at all the pricing for all the months and average it year to date, they're basically flat in Lewis Center. Oh, that's actives. My fault. Sorry. I looked at the wrong one. We want to look at solds. 575 in June from 545, up 5.65%. 526 year to date from 535 last year, down 1.66%. So they're up a lot for the month, but down just slightly, 1.6% year to date. So they're about the same price. I mean, 1% is not going to amount to a hill of beans. Days on market. Look at average combined days on market. 32 means homes are sitting on the market 32 days on average before they go into contract. Last year, it was 23. So homes are definitely sitting longer in Lewis Center. But it almost looks like there's more buyers than sellers out there. Let me look at solds. What are solds doing? Up 28% in sold listings in June. Year to date, Lewis Center is up 20% in sold listings. And the reason why I was suspicious that there were more buyers than sellers out there is this, the absorption rate. Like this absorption rate here, Redfin doesn't give us this data, but the MLS does. Maybe you guys can't see that. I don't know. But the absorption rate is the pace at which it really measures the demand, supply and demand of the market. So this means that there's 2.28 months of supply if we did not add any more inventory. That's what that means. So for the month, that absorption rate dropped, and year to date, you're only at 1.75. That means the current inventory would only last 1.75 months, right under 2 months, if you didn't add any more supply to the market. Anything under 2 is a strong seller's market. That's how I define it. If you're under 4, it's a seller's market. But under 2, that's a strong seller's market. And 1.75 is low. That means the demand is strong. And sellers are basically in control. That's really what that means. Active listings. Let's look at that and see where we're at. 72 homes on the market in June versus 68 last year. That's up 5.9% in June. Year to date, though, up 16.9% in inventory. So there are more homes on the market than there were this time last year. That's actives, right? But let's look at where the actives are. This is why the MLS is great, because it breaks out the price points and instead of just giving you one number. So like $500,000 plus homes, there were 53 added. Last year, there were 50. 400,000 to 499. You didn't add it. You added 11, but it's just flat year over year. Yeah, I mean, there were some, I guess, some less expensive homes, $90,000 to $99,000 homes in Lewis Center, and a $60,000 to $69,000 home was added as active at one point in June. So maybe that's why the inventory growth is there, but only one. It was probably like a off-market deal that they added to the MLS or something for like one day. Let's look at new listings. Yeah, new listings are at 6.7% higher for June and 18.9% higher year to date. So, yeah, more new listings than last year, more active listings overall. Solds, though, are up. So people are buying sold, and here are the sold listings, 28% and 20%. So much more active on buying and selling in Lewis Center. Who knew? I mean, look at the $500,000. This is why the median price keeps going up. Look at the $500,000 plus category. 34 homes this year, 24 homes last year in June were sold over 500 grand. That's an increase of 41%. Year to date, 116 compared to 92. So, like, when you have the bulk of the homes selling that are over 500 grand, then that's going to cause the median price to go up. And that's a function of the fact that home prices have gone up. There's not a lot of cheap homes anymore. So I hope that helped, Benton. And you're always on, so I appreciate your participation. Let me look. You guys are talking property taxes. That's cool. All right, let me show you this. So I pulled this stuff from Zillow. So this is a home in Worthington. It's sold. And what I'm trying to show you here, the purpose of this exercise is to show you that if you're patient and you are diligent about hunting and you're flexible as far as the house, the condition of the house when you buy it, you may be able to find an opportunity underneath what the retail price is and get what, a lot of people would consider a deal. So this home in Worthington, 440 East North Street. I mean, it's not like a blinged out house by any means, but it's a nice looking house. I mean, it's got a nice little yard to it and stuff. 4-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. Got over a half-acre lot. Not bad. Built in 1920. But it closed at $255. And look at this. Look at the price history. So it closed in August of last year. This is last year, though. But the principle's the same. It was originally listed in November of 2023. And it took, 9 months to sell, right? Yeah, 9 months about to sell. It was listed at $445,000. So the seller, I don't know anything about him, obviously. They obviously priced the house pretty high. A lot higher than the market wanted. And then they removed the listing in January. Then they added it back at $422,500. So 5.1% lower. Then they reduced it to $390,000. Then they reduced it to $365,000. Then they removed the listing, then added a listing at $350,000 at a lower price. Then they reduced it to $325,000. It actually went in contract at $325,000, but it looks like maybe it fell out of contract. Maybe the inspection or something. Who knows? Then it was listed again at $325,000. Then it went into contract at $325,000. Well, we don't know where it went into contract, but it was listed at $325,000 when it went into contract. And look where it closed, $255,000, a 21% discount. So it literally came down like nearly $200,000, right? Because it closed at $255,000, was originally listed way back in the day in 2023 at the end of $445,000. So it was on the market a long time. Let me see what Zillow says as far as how long it was on. It doesn't tell me because it's not listed anymore. That's the problem with Zillow. me see if it tells me. No, it doesn't tell me. But it was on the market a long time, right? And something you have to do is if you're looking at Zillow, it'll tell you sometimes a property's only been on the market 40 days. But when you peel back the layer of the onion and you look lower, you can see that they took it off the market. There's a lot of delistings happening where right here, right, where it's listed for sale and then removed. That's happening a lot right now. Like, I think it's 45% nationwide. Delistings have increased 45% nationwide. It was like 85,000 delisted properties in June nationwide. So tons of houses are coming off the market. A lot of times going back on. Sometimes at a lower price, sometimes not. Sometimes at a higher price. A lot of times sellers think it's the agent, right? They're like, oh, my realtor sucks, so I'm just gonna, I'll relist it with another realtor. Could be true, could be a bad realtor, but that's not why the house isn't selling. It's the price. So listing, the moral of this story is on this house is when you see something on the market. This one was listed at 325, but somebody thought, wait a minute, I can find, they could smell a deal maybe. Like, well, it's been on the market a while. They've had many price cuts. It started at 445. Does it need some updates? I don't know. Let's look. It looks like somebody took the pictures with their iPhone. They're not great pictures. It's got wood paneling, right? A lot of people don't like that. Maybe some outdated stuff. It looks clean though. Maybe it was a rental. Look at that sink from back in the day. It's kind of kitschy. Look at that tub. But it's got the green shutters and stuff. The white looks like aluminum siding, which lasts forever if you have it painted. Look at the lot. It's pretty good. Maybe it's in a flood zone or something. I don't know. I don't know everything about the house. But, get some standing water back here. Maybe the basement was rough. But they had it listed at 445. And somebody came around and was like, you know what? You've dropped this price so many times. It used to be this price. You've had it on the market this long, and they threw in some lowball offer, maybe. And the seller and buyer were able to come to an agreement. And the buyer got a significant price off of retail. But they had to peck around and be patient and probably send in a lot of offers to make something like this work. So that's one I found. I'm curious what you think about these. So tell me if I'm nuts or if you've got other ideas. Here's another one that's sold. This one's sold in Buckeye Lake. Buckeye Lake's off the hook with prices. Like, people are buying $1 million, $2 million homes over there like they're candy. And they keep building them. I was just over in Snug Harbor at Buckeye Lake. And like, there are multiple homes being built that are amazing properties. And they're selling them fast. They're selling the lots. Lots are going for $375. But this isn't that type of house. This sold for $160 though. Okay. Let's see where it was listed. First, let's just look at the house real quick. So, vinyl siding, looks like newer windows. Buckeye Lake, there's a lot of flood zones, obviously. Older carpet, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it needs a rehab. Baseboard heating. Kitchen obviously needs updated, but it's not like torn apart. It's still there. They got the air freshener in the closet upstairs. Always a sign that maybe there's some smells. Look at the heating, though. Look at that heating. Old gas heating. Huh. Pretty crazy. Yep, it looks like the water's right there. Right? Yeah, look, the lighthouse is right there. So it's kind of right in the prime area, I guess. Could make a good rental or could be a good house for somebody if they want to live in Buckeye Lake. But let's look and see how long it was on the market and what happened. I thought this was interesting. So it sold last year, 9/3/2024, for $160,000. It was originally listed at $250 right here. They actually tried to sell it back in 2009 for $94,000, but then they removed the listing at $91,000. Then they listed it in 2023. What's that? October, $250,000, and it sold at $160,000. And they had multiple price changes. Again, the last time or when it went into contract, the price was $225,000. That's a big discount, right? 28%, nearly 30% off that price that was listed for. And that was after it had a 2, 8, 10, 38% off of the list price. But you got to be willing to do some work, right? Probably do some rehab, tear out some carpeting. But like the kitchen could be revived, right? You don't have to redo the whole kitchen. Anyway, you take this house. How big is it? 968 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Could be a great rental. It could even be a good flip for somebody. Depends on how much work was required. But that's somebody who got a deal too. What do you all think, Mike? This is what do you think of this? Inspections are a must-have. Yeah, you got to get stuff inspected. That's a good older house built. That's a good house. Older built house are better than new ones. Yeah, a lot of these old houses, like the foundations are like big sandstones and solid, right? The timber is big and heavy. I look around Dayton, Beaver Creek is old. How many towns and cities are just barely surviving because of the elderly population? Okay, you guys are talking about that. Too small of a house. Oh, this one? It depends on what you're after. You know? I mean, I grew up in a 900 square foot house. I survived. Depends on what you're after, though. Yeah, betting $255 in Old Worthington. What a great deal. North Street is Old Worthington. Wow. That is Old Worthington, right? Yeah, good deal, right? So they exist. Those deals exist. The other thing is, let me go back and look. I wonder, like, both of those closed. The other clue, folks, is that they closed at the end of the year. Well, October and November, right? So if you want a deal, buying in June and May, April, May, June may not be the way to go. Maybe you wait until the end of the year. One of the best deals I ever bought was between Christmas and New Year's, because people don't want to look at houses, and pick a day that's super cold, like miserably cold, where people are like, I don't want to go out. That's when you go find a deal in the winter or near the end of the year. Maybe somebody had to sell for tax reasons. Who knows? Okay, I got another one for you. This one's in Granville. It's probably somebody I know. They're probably going to be upset at me for showing this. And it was a foreclosure. But look what happened. 5-bed, 5-bath. Yeah, foreclosures happen even in Granville. 5,500 square feet. Beautiful home, probably, right? Overall. I mean, definitely needs updated if you want all new style, but it's in good shape. It closed at $936,000. Now, look at this. You're gonna fall over when you see this. So we know it closed at $936,000, January 2025. Again, bought in the winter. Look how many price changes they had. Look at where it was listed for originally. $1.5 million. I thought that was a typo, but it's not, because I checked the MLS and it's real. So back in June of 2024, it was listed for sale. Now, I don't think it was an auction. It was actually on the market. So maybe there was a foreclosure filing on the property and the owner was like, I got to sell this thing. Well, they started at $1.5 million. And then they cut the price big time. And so look at this. I mean, just after, 23 days, they dropped the price $200,000, like $205,000. They dropped the price in just 23 days. that shows you, it doesn't, I mean, obviously this is $1 million home, but that shows you that if you see a seller drop a price big and quickly, that's somebody who needs to sell, doesn't want to sell. Like, oh, if I get the price I want, then I'll move to a bigger house, a $3 million house. No. This is somebody who needs to sell. They cut the price quickly. Look, then they cut it again, another $100,000 just less than a month later. Then less than a month later, they cut it another $95,000. Then they cut it by what? Over $100,000 the next time. Less than a month later. Oh no, it was over a month, right? Yeah, over a month. But who's counting at that point? Then 975. So it went into contract when it was 975, and the buyer got it at 936, and was originally listed at $1.5 million. The price was probably way overpriced at the beginning, but the point is, if you're patient and you peck around, you can find something even in Granville. And it was on the market. It's not like it was like a hidden house, like people talk about these shadow listings, like, oh, all the homes aren't listed, you can't find them on purpose. The sellers are doing that. If a seller needs to sell, they're going to drop flyers from an airplane. They're going to fly one of those banners across, like, you see at the beach from an airplane, like, buy my house, here's the address. People need to sell. They're going to sell. And they're going to list it everywhere. So pretty crazy. All right. I just thought that one was really interesting because it was in Granville. All right. Now I got some other ones for you. This one, though, is for sale. So this is in Etna, which is like east of Columbus, kind of where Amazon and Intel and all that's happening, near Pataskala. So this house is like a farmhouse, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet, 1,400 square feet, built in 1835. What? Got 2 acres, though. Updated farmhouse. Newer siding, windows, roof, interior paint. Small detached building out back. Okay. Look how long it's been on the market. 329 days. That's a while. Look at the price changes. It was listed back in, well, this is shocking. It was sold in 2023 for $450,000. Wow. Actually, we can go back again. It was listed for sale in 2022. Oh, shoot. My fault. Hang on. It was listed back in 2022 for, come on. That's taxes. Yeah, for $350. Then it was sold for $310 in 2022. Then it was sold again in 2023 for $450. And it says it was updated. So I'm wondering if they update the house and then they put it on the market and somebody's like, oh, I want to buy, it's in near Intel or something, $450. But then it was listed for sale in 2024 at $325. They dropped it to $310. It went into contract, came out of contract, it looks like. They dropped it to $299. They removed the listing. They put it back on the market at $299, dropped it to $275, went into contract at $275 or somewhere around there, listed for sale again at $250, fell out of contract, then contingent again at $250, but then listed again at $250. So it's been in and out of contract. It's 1835 home. Like, it's going to have tons of things that a lot of buyers are like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, probably knob and tube wiring. It could have like older plumbing. It could have basement foundation problem. Not saying it does, but it could, right? I mean, the walls are they could be plaster. Probably the rooms are probably structured in a weird way. Those old homes are, because they weren't built like they are now as far as like openness. But the point is that, like, could you go make an offer low offer, low enough to do what you wanted to this house. Maybe. But this is the type of thing, I think, if you're looking for an opportunity and you don't want to spend what people are charging and you think prices are going to drop 40%, then go find a house like this and make an offer at 40% off retail and see what happens. I mean, we found a house in Old Worthington, right? That area is expensive. That was a discounted house. Let me see. I think I have another one here to share with you. Here's one in Newark. Price cut 50 grand. 423 Hudson Avenue. Big house. Look how big that is. 2,700 square feet. Big to me. 4 bed, 3 bath. How long has it been on the market? 89 days. So not as long as the other ones, but certainly a while. Have they had any price cuts? Let's look. Listed for sale at $395. Price changed to $375. Price changed to $350. Price changed to $300. They listed it in April for $395. They came off that price 100 G's. So does that seller need to sell? I mean, he's moving that price fast. So if I look at, I hope this is like helpful. I hope you guys are getting something out of this. It's hard when it's just me talking to a camera. I can look at the comments, but I was going to show you something here. Let me see real quick. Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's like, and that's a big discount. That's a 25% discount total, right? 5, 11. Yeah, 25% or so. And one of the things you should not do, my advice is not to do it. Don't pay attention to what they bought it for or how much money they're making on the house. That's irrelevant. Like, so what, they're making money on the house? They should. But they obviously came down in price. They had to. And it's still out there. That's a big house. We didn't even look at it. And he's renovated. Look at that. I mean, some people like that style, right? Looks like the windows are old. I mean, so a property like this, you could go to the owner and say, I mean, look at that fireplace. Like, you would never find anything like that in a newer house. Some people like this style. Some people don't. I bet that the ceilings are tall. I bet they are. The windows are huge. Yeah, the ceilings are super tall in that older house, right? Look at the pocket doors. You can see it has a pocket door here. Not going to find that in a newer house. If it is, it's going to be insanely expensive. So maybe you go to an owner like this and go, look, you want $300 for the house. I'm going to have to spend $150 on the repairs. I'll give you $190 for it. Are they going to take that? I don't know. But at least it starts some type of conversation. I got a couple more here for you, I think. I got that one. That one. Boop, 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 boop. Look at this one. 309 West Locust Street, also in Newark. For sale. $309,900. I mean, look at this thing. Again, it needs updated, right? I mean, it's got like drop ceilings, older carpet, older style, but the house is like, you're never going to see anything like this, like in a new house. But the style's not for everybody. But my goodness, $309,900. Like, where did they start the pricing? $334 back at the end of last year. Now they're at $309, and they removed the listing in May. So is this seller desperate? Doesn't seem like it. Then I don't, but you can always make a low offer anyway. There's no crime against it, but it hasn't really been reduced that much. And it's been for sale for a while. So anyway, those are some properties I found. I thought maybe they would be, that would be kind of educational. Hopefully it was. Any houses under 25 to 30,000? I don't think so. No. In fact, I couldn't find anything. So this is, I'll show you this right now. It's starting to rain. Now it's dark. Price. So I set up a search on the MLS, and a realtor can do this for you too, easily. And I wanted to look at only homes that were on the market for what, 180 days or longer in these counties: Delaware, Fairfield, Franklin, Licking, Madison, Pickaway, and Union counties. That was my parameter. There's 209 of them in those counties. First one, $45,000. So yeah, I guess there is somebody. I don't know what type of house this is though. Looks like it's just land. I guess that's the house, maybe a tear down. So that's 45 grand. But then look, it jumps to 102 for this house in Lancaster with, you know, not many pictures. And then it's 119 on Oakland Park in Columbus. So that's where the market is. Like, you used to be able to come on here and you would find houses 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand all day long. Not anymore. Like these houses here, this one and this one on 11th in Newark, these have been for sale forever. Like this has been on the market for like 313 days. And look at the price. It hasn't moved at all. They haven't changed the price at all on this property. I may get struck by lightning out here, but that tells me the guy's not, you know, the seller's like, I don't need to sell. I want to sell, but I don't need to. Probably a renter in there. We'll just let it sit. And the math won't work on $140,000 on this property. It's not going to work as a rental. If I were to buy it, not even close. I'd have to charge like $2,300 a month in rent. That's not where this house would rent for. So that's what's going on. That's the inventory. You're seeing stuff on the market that's not moving. There's sellers that are stubborn. And then but behind the scenes, there are deals out there. Like I showed you today. Like, look at this house on Republic Avenue in Columbus. I bought a house on this street like in 2020 for 30 grand on seller financing. Meaning I put down like $1,000 and our payment was like $300 a month. Now this one I think is renovated. Mine wasn't renovated, but still I bought it for 30 grand. I don't own it anymore, but now it's 145 out there. Nuts. Anyway, I could go on forever, but I hope that helped somewhat. So there's I found a house for 45. Yeah, isn't that a beautiful house? See, Benton, you need to move to Newark. If a house goes down by 60,000 in 6 months, try to lowball. Absolutely, try to lowball. Absolutely. Why not? Yeah, great price for Buckeye Lake, right? That was a good price. The coldest day between Christmas and New Year's. Yeah. That's the way to do it. Man. Storm incoming. Okay, let me check this out. We close on an $800,000 home next Friday in Delaware. Oh, congratulations. The builder gave us 45 days notice of close, which means 15 days to get the house ready, list the house, and sell it. Now I'm being effed out of my 5.5% loan and put in a traditional loan. which means my payment is now $450 a month more. Oh, man. Now the house in my current neighborhoods are starting to sit. Really wild time right now. Man, I'm sorry, Elijah. I don't like to see that. I don't like to see people get bit like that. I mean, congratulations on buying your nice house. Do you mean like the rate changed because of rate lock or something? Is that why the rate went up or something? Because 5.5% is good. And did you get a builder interest rate, or did you get a the storm's crazy, or did you get or is that like a rate you got at a lender? Because that's a good rate. I look around Dayton, Beaver Creek is old. How many towns and cities are just barely surviving because of elderly population? Yellow Springs, Xenia are still affordable. Columbus is sick. Yeah, they talk about the silver tsunami and all these folks are going to be passing away and their houses are going to, be empty or something, and there's going to be a flood of inventory. But I think people forget that there's a lot of inventory that's old in the U.S. and a lot of it needs bulldozed probably. So I don't know how many of those houses are actually like livable. What is wooded acreage and doing in Ashtabula County? Boy, I don't know. I can't answer that. I'd need access to the MLS up there. But Ma Deuce, if you want to email me, I can connect you with somebody who in Ashtabula who knows what they're doing with wood acreage. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, okay. What's Ashtabula? My last one. I like your dog. Looks like a German Shepherd. Nice dog. Nice looking dog. All right, let me look. Ashtabula County. Okay. Homes for sale, inventory in Ashtabula. What do we got? 236 homes. How many did you have last year? 226. So you have a few more homes for sale in Ashtabula, but not a ton. Like 10 more. And again, look at the inventory where it's gone over the past decade. Crazy, right? Just down, 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 down. Fewer and fewer homes for sale. And that's why prices have gone straight up. 103 new listings hit the market. Wow, that seems like a lot. Oh, you had 110 or 111 last year. So actually fewer homes hit the market this year. I'm seeing that a lot. A lot of sellers are pulling back. They're like, I'll try in the spring. As you can see, if you list your house in the winter or it's for sale in the winter, it can be a problem especially if you overprice it. Now let me look at medium price home sales. 82 homes sold. How many did you have last year sold? 81. About the same as last year in homes sold. And now let's look at prices. Median price in Ashtabula County, $200,000. Not an all-time high. That happened earlier. That happened in May of 2024 for $205,000, but you're right there at the all-time high. So it looks like prices are still high. People are buying homes, but I don't think they were buying. Yeah, they're buying about the same as last year. One more home sold. New listings are down year over year, but inventory is definitely up. By how much, though? 10 homes. Not that much. So it looks like a stuck market where prices are probably going to continue to go up, or at least stay sticky and the same. Anyway, that's Ashtabula County. All righty. All right, guys. It's been 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 50 seconds. But you've been great, very interactive. Thank you so much for being on. And I hope this was valuable. And I hope you learned something. I definitely learned something from you guys. So have a great afternoon. Make it a great weekend. And I will see you next week on the Ohio Housing Nerd. I'm out.